Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, here with Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time. And I got to tell you, this is going to be an action-packed day. Mike, super excited to have you here. We got a lot to cover and encouraging fun stuff actually to cover largely. So I'm actually very excited about that. So for those who don't know, Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, book, videos, courses, books, videos, courses, but we read all the comments on all of our videos.
Yep.
And so if you didn't get a response back, we're actually ignoring you. And it's because we just live by the adage, if you didn't have something nice to say, you didn't say anything at all. Mike does a better job with that life lesson than I do. But that being said, one of the comments that was on the video that we did, so super awesome. If you guys haven't seen it yet, there was a video on One Rental at a Time, Mike's channel, that talked about the money that was donated to the food bank. So for both Mike and I, we both grew up with not very much money and sometimes felt that and saw all the different ways that you can feel that. And certainly from food can be an issue. And so what was really awesome was we wanted to, do this and give back as part of the big 500 house challenge that Mike had from One Rental at a Time. So I wanted to turn it over to him, have him talk a little bit about that, because what was really interesting was a viewer comment on that video. And that's what I kind of wanted to get into. But Mike, if you can just give people like a quick 60 seconds on the 500 purchase challenge, so people know why we gave the money to the food bank, aside from just being great people. But actually, and trying to help folks out, but then we can get to the comment.
So about a year ago, so May 31st of last year of 2021, I had a moment with another expert, like, how do you know what you're doing? So I went back to my history and I could point at about 150, 160 deals that people closed because of One Rental at a Time. It was cool, but frankly, not enough. Right. I do 4 or 5 videos a day, every day, haven't missed a day. That sucked. Just sucked. So I took that. Yeah, exactly. So I took up a goal that was published June 1st of last year that we were going to do 500. I bought 1,500 cars because I fully expected to blow it out. But we did this, and then we did some crazy things. Like Dion wanted to see me dye my hair purple. I'm positive he didn't think I would, but I'm like, sure, why not? And I did. Most importantly to me is I wanted to cut a big check to a food bank. And I was thinking initially that Olivia and I would cut a check $10 for every house that somebody closed, right? So 10 times 500 is 5,000. That's where my vision was, a $5,000 check, which would have been the largest donation I've done to a food bank to date. Over time, this became known, and then my experts stepped up, like yourself, like Dion, like Matt, the mortgage guy, Omar, the list goes on. And pretty soon we were at about $900 or $9,500 in commitments. And then as we got closer and the 500 became a reality, because again, I wasn't sure we'd get there, right?
Sure.
150 to 500, didn't know if we can get there. We were getting there. Students, followers wanted to donate. So long story short, we donated almost $15,000 because we did hit this goal. And that was cool. I actually interviewed the food bank's president, I think, yesterday. So again, full acknowledgement. All you guys are awesome. But I got an email that made me, or not an email, a comment on that video was emotional. I cut and pasted it, sent it to you because I wanted to talk about it. And I'm just going to read it.
Sure.
Because I want you and I to answer this question for this 16-year-old. The handle is Hacker. Amazing. Very impressive. From food insecure to financial freedom. What is the name of the charity? How can I donate? So we took care of that. I have to ask, since you were there, what advice would you give a smart 16-year-old kid with a good heart and a good work ethic that has parents that struggle, just keep the lights on, or maybe even have parents that aren't supportive at all, perhaps even dysfunctional, and experiencing food insecurity? But this young person would like to break the cycle and get out of the poverty trap and experience financial freedom. So as I read this for the 100th time, I can't tell the hacker is 16, or maybe they have a 16-year-old in mind as they write that. Either way, I want you and I to talk to this 16-year-old because we were both that 16-year-old at one point.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Your show, you first.
I mean, yeah, it's 16. I'd already been out of school a couple of years.
Yeah, dude, you were already on your way.
Well, I was a 14-year-old dropout. Yeah. So yeah, man, I remember I did any job that I could get. You know, I was delivering newspapers and doing lawns and trading sports cards and you name it. Like I did anything I could do legally. But one of the things that I constantly was doing along while I was working and trying to just make money, I knew that I could do more. I knew that I could be better. It was creating and understanding, attaining knowledge. There is no easier time to get educated on a topic. There's no easier time than right now, today. There's no easier time. There is unbelievable amounts of data, unbelievable amounts of data. So I think that, I remember those days. I remember having a good heart and being a hard worker. And those things are really important because those two things right there instantly make you a top 10% person in my eyes. If you're a giver, and you're also a hard worker, those to me are the most important things, is that you give back, and you give out of your lack. You'll be amazed that there's not addition there, that there's multiplication. So that's what I would say to that, to kind of that piece of it. So the good news is that don't listen to all the people that are going to tell you no. Don't listen to all the people that are going to discourage you. Don't listen to all the people that are going to tell you how hard it is. They've already given up. They're never going to get there. They're not even going to be has-beens. They're going to be never will be's.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the opportunity to become exactly what you think you can become. There's going to be times of doubt. There are going to be unbelievable and what seem like unattainable goals and unsurmountable mountains. And you'll get there, because you only lose if you quit. Don't quit. Keep going.
Yeah, there's so many things. Because I was originally typing a response to this. I'm like, there's got to be a word limit. I can't get it all in this comment. So I just told him, look out for a video, because I just can't type all of them. So I've thought about this now for almost 18 hours. Yeah. So the first thing I want to tell people is the world owes you nothing. Simply because you were born and you're breathing, the world doesn't owe you anything. And I say that hoping this 16-year-old case is not a 16-year-old kid's not offended by that, because some people I say that to will immediately get offended and are turned off. Well, you're never was, right? The world owes you nothing. Sorry, owes you nothing. Second, again, you have two guys here that were in your situation, or perhaps even worse.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. And don't let that situation define you. It's easy, and perhaps even easier, to stay there. It's like a magnet that it tries to draw you back. It could be your friends. It could be your family. It could be an employer. It could be anything. They're just trying to hold you in place. You have to break it. It will. One of my superpowers, and I say this as nearly a 50-year-old who didn't even know it until 5 years ago, is my ability to put my head down and freaking ignore everything else. Ignore my parents, ignore my friends. I just go, and I don't stop. I just don't stop. I've been doing 5 or 6 videos a day for almost 3 years. I would not know any different. I just go. And that's what I would tell you. There are some skills that I think you need to focus on. For me, $1 million skill is public speaking.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, you may not believe this, given that I talk to a camera for 2 hours a day, or I spoke in front of 10,000 people. I'm an introvert, or at least was through college. And I went to one class only because it fit my schedule, public speaking, that changed my life. I would have, looking back on it, that again, that course, that one college, a junior college course that changed my life is public speaking. The other ones in today's environment, I think, the ability to go deep and focus. I mean, I probably wouldn't go to college today if I was coming out, because again, I would bust my ass selling something. I would be on commission for sure. And I would be building a side hustle. Would it be real estate? Maybe. Would it be baseball cards? I don't know. I mean, the riches are in the niches. As a 16-year-old kid, by the time you are 18, if you focus, you could have a following, be a known quantity, be an influencer in your niche. It takes a lot less than you think. You get to 1,000 followers, which isn't easy. That's enough to build something. Find your passion, find your interest. Don't give up. The world owes you nothing. Don't think it does. Don't let your situation define you. In fact, the thing that you and I have about our situation as teenagers is there's no question that you and I have it as fuel that we can call on any time we want. And believe me, I have. You want to piss me off? Get me to think about that time. I will work 50 hours straight. I mean, just don't even think about it. So what I would tell this person at 16 is and the last thing I will say is 16, dude, most of your life is going to be amazing. It may feel bad today because your parents are this or that, and you're going to be under their roof for a couple more years. As somebody who has his dream car, as somebody who has bought season tickets to his sport team, as someone who has done some amazing things, most of your life is ahead of you.
Yes.
And it will be amazing. Right. I think it's the Navy SEALs that have a saying that the only easy day was yesterday. Adopt that. Get in the suck. Yep. Get to work and enjoy it. It is so fun. Just go. So that's what I would tell them.
Yeah. Keep on pushing. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When you think nothing's moving, things are moving so long as you're moving. The only time you're going to lose is if you give up. You keep on pushing forward. You keep on accumulating knowledge. Forget this idea about find a mentor and then just live with them. Like that just doesn't work. Those people aren't out there. No one has that amount of time to dedicate. And so find people that have been really successful, understand their patterns, understand their habits, understand where they were successful, and recognize that not always will the success that they had in that area work in other areas based on their approach. So whatever it is that you want to be successful at, find other people that are successful at that thing because they know what it took to get there. So
I was just thinking, right, let's just pretend like there are these body switching things you could do. So let's just say it, I'm 50, right? I was just thinking, would I trade my situation today to be 16 again? The answer is probably yes, right? You could come into my body, 50, got a bunch of stuff, don't have to work, or I could be 16 and try to do this again. I think I make that trade. 34 years with knowing what I know. That's the key, right?
Right.
Knowing what I know. I think I make that switch.
Yeah.
Because in 34 years.
Mike, we're only 20 years into our journeys.
Yeah.
And you're
my
3
God.
years into your YouTube journey, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So
yeah, I would make that trade.
Yeah. So hacker, if this is you, or if this is for a 16-year-old that you know, stay strong, be encouraged. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the doubters. I can promise you this. I think it's fairly easy to say that I'm probably more successful than all of my friends are from that age.
Oh, there's no question.
Infinitely more, like significant, like eons past. Yeah. And it's because I didn't listen to them and they got together and they made excuses of why they weren't going to be successful.
Yeah, dude, I mean, high school dropout at 14. That's not a recipe for a lot of success.
Not typically,
right?
No.
So,
but I was told in one of the comments that I'm not the only ninth grade dropout to make money. I looked it up. There really aren't any others that I could find. Nothing that are super famous. Yeah. But listen, hacker, do it to it, man. Do it to it.
I would make the trade. Go.
Oh, do the work. You've got your whole life in front of you. Keep those two simple things though. Make sure that you stay with a good heart, and make sure that you never stop working. You do
Amen.
those two things, and eventually the work that you're doing later on in life will be whatever you choose to work on. It won't be work. It won't be work. It'll be whatever you're choosing to do with your life at that point.
I was just thinking, so if again, we make that switch, I am probably financially free by 25 instead of 45.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's much earlier. It's happening in your mid to late 20s as opposed to mid to late 40s, or for me, mid to late 30s. Yeah, for sure. That time makes a difference. So, Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
One rental at a time. It should not be hard to find. YouTube, books, courses, Instagram, website. Have a good time. Thanks, buddy.
It's all awesome. Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube, Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram. Also, check me out 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays after One Rental at a Time does their daily financial news. And if you like asking questions of Mike on a Saturday morning, he's available 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. They're answering questions for about an hour or so. So, Mike, thanks so much for the time. Looking forward to segment number 2.
Got it.
Thanks, sir.